Hi everyone, welcome back to the 3delight tutorials. This is tutorial number 5 about re-archiving paint effects and deep shadows. So let's open Maya, and we have a very basic scene again. If we render this scene, just tip it on a plane with a spotlight, we just have what we expect to have. So nothing more, nothing less. And what we want to do here is first to create some paint effects stuff. So let's go here and create some paint effects. If you go to the visor, general editor, visor, you can go into the, I want to create some trees, you can go to the trees. There you go, and there is bamboo here. So you select bamboo, and you can create a curtain of bamboo. Nice curtain of bamboo. Actually, let me recreate it. There you go. So, okay, great. We have our bamboo, and what do we want to do with it? Well, first of all, let's just do a plain render and see what happens. If we render with 3delight, you can see that 3delight automatically recognizes any paint effect stroke and renders it accordingly. So this is very cool, of course. And what we want to do now is to also have the shadow be recognized by the paint effects. So I remember to you this paint effect here was not converted to poly, so 3delight is able to totally understand paint effects curves, no problem. So we want to add shadows. In order to add shadows, there is a little bit of a trick, because if you look into the hypershade now, and you can see, I mean, some effects in Maya do not have a shading group. A shading group is like, if you're not super experienced with Maya, is this kind of icon here, and usually the shading group is the last chain of the node last node of the chain where the material gets into. But some other nodes, like the paint effects or the fur and also the Maya hair, do have shading attributes inside. So for example, the bamboo paint effects has all the shading here inside the bamboo node. So how do we actually create the shadow option? Well, we have to do a couple of things. First of all, we have to create a set that contains the objects that will cast a shadow. In this case, we will select the two components of the teapot and the bamboo. Then we will go to the Create tab of Maya and create a new Maya set. Now, the last set here, set 1, contains the cap, the pot, and the stroke of bamboo. We will call this shadow set. Shadow set. Let's call it 2 because I have a backup one in case something happens. So the shadow set 2 contains the geometry that needs to cast shadow, and now we want to create a light set that contains the light that will be linked to the paint effects. In this case, we have a couple of lights, an ambient light and a spotlight, and we will create another set. And this will be our light set 2. Light set 2. As I said, the previous one is just for backup reasons. Okay, great. So we have a shadow set and a light set. Now what we have to do? The first thing we have to do is to select the bamboo and create an attribute node, a geometry attribute node, and attach it to the bamboo. That means that this geometry node will contain the bamboo geometry. The light geoattribute node here could be renamed to something like bamboo light linking, or bamboo light, yeah, light linking 2. Again, here I have the first one. Bamboo light linking 2. We go into the parameters of bamboo light linking, and we instead we choose the lighting tab here, and under lighting, instead of leaving the default light linker, we choose illumination from light set 2. Oops, sorry. There you go. And that means that the lights will be connected to the bamboo. Great. The second things we have to do is to select the light which casts a shadow, in this case this light here, and create lighting parameters, and which we have down here. We can call them, as for now, light for bamboo, light for objects, actually shadow lights for. This is just a name, you know, to for us to know what we exactly want to do. And in these in the parameters of the node, we go to, okay, we want to generate shadow maps. We don't have to put a name. And what is really important here is that under shadow objects, we have to choose, instead of the light linker, the objects that will create a shadow. In this case, the shadow set 2. That's great. Now we have set everything and we can render. This is a refresh issue. So we can see now that the shadows actually kind of disappeared, and we don't really see a shadow there, so something is wrong. The reason is that we are using depth map shadows, and we should really use something better. So we just select our shadow light for objects, and we switch to deep shadows, which catch fine geometry like the bamboo here. Now we re-render. Go to the iDisplay, go to the last frame. There you go. So now we have the shadow as it's supposed to be. We could create better shadow actually, like we could have less aliasing problems just by pushing the shadow maps pixel samples value to 4.4. This will be more than enough. And as for this, we have seen how to create pane effects, how to render pane effects, how to cast shadow from pane effects on other objects, etc. I will enter into the deep shadow explanation in another tutorial. I just wanted to create an example here. Okay. Now you should also understand that since that currently there is no real shader attached to the bamboo, currently there is only a default shader, and the colors of the pane effects are baked onto it. But to have a better effect, you should really use one regular shader. A good example here is to just select your geometry, and we will introduce something else, the shader manager. Shader manager will attach here a shader, so we can choose something that could be okay, even something basic like the plastic shader, and we will create a, you see I have already another one, and assign it. Now the plastic shader is attached to the geometry here with the delight shape set node. The plastic shader here has the following parameters. We will basically copy the same parameters as I already did in the other shader, which I renamed bamboo shader. So .2173. So .21.7.3, and some not fully white specular color. Now if we re-render, we will have some real shading, which is not like the default surface shader, which is applied by default on all pane effects, except if you convert to polys. So there you go. Now we have a more logical illumination, also with some specular, and we're quite happy about it. That's great. So now we have to introduce the rib archives. So rib archives is one of the powerful features that 3delight has, And the logic here is the following. We want to create other bamboos, but we don't want to really paint all the scene with bamboo. We would just like to use the same kind of bamboo line and load it as another geometry, but do not also have the slow down the interface, and at the same time to really load on memory the bamboo only when it's needed. There is a fantastic feature set which is called rib archive. How does this work? So you select the geometry, in this case the bamboo, and go to the 3delight menu, and you need to create a special path for it. So let's duplicate our delight render path, and now select the delight render path 2. We will call this delight render path 2 rib out archive. And what we will do with this? Well, first of all, we will go into the output mode and say we want to really save a rib archive, and we need to give a name to it, and we call it bamboo line archive. Bamboo line archive new, because I think they have another one on disk, dot rib. Excellent. We don't need to check binary or compressed, so we don't need it. It's quite a small geometry. And now of course, if we render, we will export all the scene and put all the scene into the rib archive. We just want to create an archive for this geometry. So how do we do it? We create another set containing that geometry, and we call it rib out bamboo. Rib out bamboo now contains the bamboo geometry, and in the rib out archive we go down and select into the objects to render only the rib out bamboo that we just created. That's all fine. We can just check the rib archive options. You can see we have quite a lot of options for rib archive. We will export this and automatically have light sources and light linking set up automatically without any hassle, and overwrite the existing archive in case we regenerate it. Then we have quite a lot of possibilities to tweak your archives. You can read the documentations for it. So now we can render. No image will be generated, just the rib archive will be written on disk. So we just check the name we gave, bamboo line archive new.rib. If we go on our tutorials folder into the archiving, we should have well, let's see where it did the save the archive. Actually, for some error of mine, it wrote the archive in the output passes directory. No problem, let's just go into the output passes, and there you go. This is the archive, bamboo line archive new.rib. If you open it, it will really be a rib file which contains all the information of the geometry. So well, we won't go through the 3.5 megabyte file, but you can see it will contain all the geometry and shading and light linking. Okay, that's great. So now we have an archive. What do? We just go here with 3delight and we see another piece of the UI. We add a rib archive, and you can see there's something like a placeholder node, like an empty box. You see? Okay, excellent. We want just let's leave it there for the moment, and we just say okay, let's load a rib archive, and we want this bamboo line archive new.rib. Select, and automatically the bounding box will be scaled, and we can choose between delayed rib archive. That means that when the renderer will need to render this archive, will load it in memory, otherwise it won't. This is really memory efficient. You can also have the options to immediately load this when the rendering starts. So you can see the bounding box updated it, and we can just rotate this and put it back. Okay, something like this and this, and now we just re-render this. but not with the Reboot archive, but we switch back to the original render pass, which we will call the final render, something like this. So we render. There you go. And we have our second line of bamboo with strong lighting actually loaded there. Excellent. So now you can see the bamboo is not linked to the shadow because it's a pane effects. Always is pane effects, so we just have to add the latest bamboo to the shadow. So our Reboot bamboo there you go. Our Rib archive goes also as in the shadow set. Shadows. Let me find it. Shadow set 2. There you go. So now the Rib archive is also shadowed, and we should also make sure that our let me see the image, but I think it was there too, so we could actually slow down this slide because it's a bit too powerful. And re-render our Rib archive. Maybe also the ambient light. That's fine. And re-render the Rib archive, which now should be shadowed too. Still rendering the shadow map. Now it's rendering. There you go. So you can see the self-shadowing on itself now. Very nice. So this is the Rib archive functionalities. We also have seen a bit of the deep shadow map, which we will see in another tutorial, and we have seen also how to cast shadows and attach shaders to pane effects. So I'll see you in the next tutorials. Bye bye.